Well, first of all, I'm very passionate about Tantra. I'm very passionate about what Tantra does for an individual and what Tantra does for a couple and what Tantra does for the world. Because when people study Tantra, they come much more into their heart and much more into their pleasure at the same time, and also much more into their spiritual expansion. And so people just moving in the world with more heart, more aliveness, and more connection to divinity makes a much better world. And it's done amazing things for me. When I first studied Tantra, I was already a hypnotherapist, and I was newly divorced, and I wasn't doing that well in the world, even though I had been doing hypnotherapy for years. And Tantra completely shifted my finances. So much that I came home to this tiny apartment with very poor feng shui and mess everywhere, and said, this no longer needs me. And my life just shifted dramatically. My ability to call in a higher level partner, my ability to make enough money to be a successful single mom and still have time for my daughters. And what I've seen in the graduates who've come through this work also, watching women become so much more confident and actually less masculine, because they didn't need to work so hard in the world in order to be valued or to be paid well. And so they could really drop into the feminine aspects of what they have to offer, and really receiving from life, and the confidence and more beautiful. I mean, if you could take somebody who's already very pretty and create magic inside of them, or to support magical creation within them, they become much more beautiful. And this is, every time I see one of them, and it's been a while, it's amazing to me how much they've grown and how that has affected their entire life, just like it's affected mine in different ways, each person.
Yeah, well, I came from a background where I was abused as a child. I had a very chaotic upbringing, a lot of instability, insecurity, and so through my own healing, and I also ended up in the corporate world, and basically I was a robot. That's where, that was my background. Maria the robot. I didn't feel anything. I didn't, I was very, very numb, physically, emotionally numb, and not feeling life, not feeling aliveness, fulfillment, purpose. None of those things were a part of me at that time. And it was through being introduced to the Tantric path and receiving from other practitioners that I opened up, and that spark of life started to come through. And that willingness to live, really live and experience all that life has to offer, all the full emotional range of being human, and basically feeling again, connecting with myself, with others, with nature, with God, has become the inspiration to then support others in, getting on the same path, trajectory, having this experience as well.
How does feeling more support your sex life?
Great question. Because there's so much potential in sex and in lovemaking, that feeling more and being more sensitive, it puts you into that oneness of creation, of the universe. Like, you are a part of everything. There's no separation. So it's like creating the shift from just the physicality and a goal-oriented path where you're not really present with yourself or with your beloved because you're chasing this goal. And so Tantra bringing into my sex life at least presence, and through that presence you have more intimacy, more connection. You're reaping the benefits of, you know, your heart's being open, connecting. It's more time being in these very high states. So because it keeps expanding, when I'm feeling more and there's more sensitivity, we're in this very beautiful energy of love, and it becomes infinite. And yeah, it's as close to God as I know how to get. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I'm sitting with the other sides of feeling more in terms of emotional, you know, and I've heard it said that you can't really feel joy if you're not able to feel sadness. So I'm curious your take on those sorts of things, and how, you know, I see it and how alive you are. Of course, I didn't know you back then, but I'm curious how those sorts of allowance of emotions has also affected you.
Yeah, it's life to feel this full range of emotions that is part of our human experience, our birthright. It's how we communicate energetically with ourselves, our environment, nature. So to feel, I don't want to say negative emotions, because I find value in every emotion, even if it's not as pleasant or enjoyable to feel in the moment. Certain emotions, they're all there to communicate with us, to help us see things from a different perspective, or to make a change or a choice. Like, they're so valuable, every emotion. And the more deeply you can feel emotions, even the darker ones, or the ones that maybe are considered lower vibrational, you know, and it's, again, to me, not negative. Like, the lower vibrational energies are a part of us, a part of existence, and they have their purpose, and you can't have, you know, the light without the dark, or the high vibrations without the lower vibrations. So it's just living life more fully, to feel this full range and to be emotionally fluid, like going from that robot kind of locked down, stuck, contracted, to like opening the body, opening yourself spiritually, opening yourself to receive love, and communicating all that through the emotions.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.